real thing that was beyond the beyonds for her was the way her dad controlled the food that went into her mouth. You guys, I don't blame her for just being over it with this. I mean, it's like if everything else in life was just terrible, at least you could look forward to food. Not so. Not with Jaimie at the helm. She said no matter how much I dieted and exercised, my father was always telling me I was fat. He put me on a strict diet. And the irony was that we had a butler, an extravagance. And I would beg him for real food. Sir, I would plead, can you please sneak a hamburger or ice cream to me? Ma'am, I'm sorry, he would say. I have strict orders from your father. So for 2 years, I ate almost nothing but chicken and canned vegetables. What? With her money? Let's fire the butler and hire a chef. Canned vegetables. Jaimie really was the one at the helm. And that's the thing that really smacked of this entire chapter. That Jaimie was constantly making decisions that are just lame and terrible and but a shadow of what he should be doing. Like, okay, fine, eat the chicken and vegetables, but canned vegetables? And that's the thing. Everything that he does is so lazy and he's like, I heard you should eat veggies, so go get you a couple of canned mixed veggies, open them up, throw them in the microwave. Just nothing that he does is with excellence. It's all just he heard you should do this, so he's doing a version of it. Okay, well, she says 2 years is a long time not to be able to eat what you want, especially when it's your body and your work and your soul making the money that everyone's living off of. 2 years of asking for french fries and being told no, I found it so degrading. Yeah, it is degrading. Because here's the thing. It's not like the whole family was on the chicken and canned vegetable diet with her. They were living life, feasting and merrymaking. And there she is, barely able to put 2 calories in her mouth. And her mom's, downing the wine and, cutting up the steak. And then everyone's telling her, no, Brittany, no, it's not for you. And could you just imagine how frustrating and just I would just be so outraged. I would just live in a cloud of rage all the time. She says that a strict diet that you've put yourself on is bad enough. But when someone is depriving you of food that you want, that makes it worse. I felt like my body wasn't mine anymore. I would go to the gym and feel so out of my mind with this trainer telling me to do things with my body. I felt cold inside. I felt scared. I'll be honest, I was effing miserable. It's kind of a verbal tick of hers to be like, I'll be honest. It's like, well, I hope you would be. It is your memoirs. And why wouldn't you be? But anyway, a lot of people say it and I'm like, all right, you can say it once or twice, but I'll be honest every time you say anything. Well, what else would you be doing? Anyway, regardless, the working out was terrible and the not being able to eat was horrific. She said, by the way, all this dieting didn't even work. The diet had the opposite effect of what my father wanted. I gained weight. Even though I wasn't eating as much, he made me feel so ugly and like I wasn't good enough. Maybe that's because of the power of your thoughts. Whatever you think you are, you become. I was so beaten down by all of it that I just surrendered. My mom seemed to go along with my dad's plan for me. Well, of course she gained weight. First of all, again, this is what I'm saying. Jaimie doesn't know once he speaks. You can't deprive yourself, especially as a woman. You can't be doing these hard workouts and then depriving yourself of food and then thinking you're going to lose weight. It's not really the way it works when you think about your hormones and all of this. I mean, this isn't like a working out podcast, but let me tell you, I'm not surprised she was gaining weight on her canned vegetables and her insane workouts. It had started when I was young. Whether it was strangers in the media or within my own family, people seemed to experience my body as public property, something they could police and control, criticize, or use as a weapon. My body was strong enough to carry 2 children and agile enough to execute every choreographed move. And now here I was, having every calorie recorded so that people could continue to get rich off of my body. She said that no one else but me seemed to find it outrageous that my father would set all these rules for me and then go out and drink Jack and Cokes. My friends would visit and get their nails done at spas and drink fancy champagne, and I was never allowed into spas. My family would go to stay in Destin, a pretty beach town in Florida, at a ridiculously beautiful condo that I bought for them, and eat good tasting food every night while I was starving and working. See, that alone would be enough for me to write a memoir about how my family had hated me. Far apart from the fact that they locked her up all the time, not being able to eat what you want. Like, you guys, food is everything. And if somebody's going to tell me that I can't have what I want when I want it, I mean, it's different than if you were just like, okay, I need to cut back. It's getting out of control here. But if everyone around me was living high off the hog because of the sweat of my brow while I sat over there and chewed on a couple of celery sticks, you better believe I'd have something to say. By the way, Jaimie Lynn, she hasn't stopped being less annoying. She says, my sister was turning her nose up at every gift I'd given the family. I called my mom one day in Louisiana and said, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, the girls and I are going down to Destin tomorrow, she said. Jaimie Lynn had said so many times that she never went there, that it was one more of those ridiculous things I'd bought the family that she'd never wanted. And it turned out that my mom went there every weekend with Jaimie Lynn's 2 daughters. Well, Jaimie Lynn might still have hated it down in Destin, which, what is wrong with her? But, and so her sending her daughters isn't exactly the same thing as her going. But the fact that she would wander around being like, oh, why did Brittany do that for us? Why don't you just shut up, Jaimie Lynn, and, do some more of your second-rate dancing on your second-rate show. She says that the thing is that there was a time when she loved buying her family houses and cars. It was really fun to be able to gift those things. But then at a certain point, the whole family started acting like it was their right and just took the whole thing for granted. So she's over there slaving and slaving and slaving, so much to the point where she says she wasn't really able to be creative anymore. She was just functioning as a robot just so they could continue to live in the lap of luxury while she was basically the slave girl. To make matters worse, while they're spending her money like there's no tomorrow, she was only given $2,000 a week. Now, for the rest of us, it's like, okay, well, $2,000 is pretty good, but not when you have millions and millions and millions of dollars that everybody else is spending, and you get $2,000 a week and not a penny more. She said that one of the only nights that I went out with a friend and others, including my dancers, for dinner, I tried to pick up the check for our whole party. The check was over $1,000, but she wanted to, gift everybody this fun evening and take care of it. But when they ran her debit card, could she pay for it? No, because that was going to mean that she had spent more than her $2,000 that week. So no, and her card was declined in front of everybody. What? Can you even imagine? Like, humiliation. And every single cent that her family was spending was hers. But she can't even pay for a dinner with her and her friends. It's so humiliating.